Welcome everyone to the meditation service. Between sunbeam and shadow, the great mystery unfolds. Make life your treasure. Namo Furubosa. Namo Furubosa. Namo Furubosa. Since it is the practice of enlightenment, that practice has no beginning. And since it is enlightenment within the practice, that realization has no end. So tonight's question is happiness a choice? And if any of you know me, I always say that one of the nicest and easiest ways to get at a question is to define your terms. So let's define what we mean from a mindfulness perspective, what happiness is. And then we'll say what a choice is. So what is happiness? Well, here's the thing. In Buddhism, in the mindful tradition, happiness is not primarily a feeling. Now, I'm not saying that pleasant feelings can't accompany happiness. But actually, I would go so far as to say that happiness might also be accompanied by unpleasant feelings. Wow, that is different. when most people talk about happiness, they're talking about a feeling. And so, they might rightly say, maybe life isn't really just about happiness. And if they're talking about happiness as an emotion, I could agree with that and say, no, that's not the most important thing in life. It's just a pleasant feeling. But that's not what happiness means in Buddhism. So what is happiness in Buddhism? Freedom. The best way to translate the meaning of happiness in the way of mindful living is freedom. Now that might surprise some of you. It's freedom. Freedom is happiness. Now you might say to me, okay, Sensei Tony, what's freedom? Well, that relates to the next one. The freedom to choose. It's the freedom to choose. It's the freedom to choose how you will live. When I'm asked, can you summarize the Dharma in one sentence? I say, life's rough, but we can choose to live nobly. Happiness is the freedom to choose. The freedom to choose. So if we say, is happiness a choice? Definitely. It is first and foremost and last a choice. When I choose to be free, what I'm saying is that I'm taking responsibility for my own life and my own actions. What I'm saying is that I recognize that whatever's going on in my life, that I ultimately get to choose what it means. And that's the greatest freedom of all. I get to choose what to believe. I get to choose what to think. And that's why the very first lines attributed to Shakyamuni Buddha and the Dhammapada, an ancient holy scripture of Buddhism, attributed to be the first words recorded. It is with our thoughts that we make up our life. Some people kind of shrink that down to that something like along the lines is with our thoughts that we create our world. But whatever way you want to phrase it, that's the insight of the Buddha, and that is the foundation of mindful living. You get to choose what you think, what you believe, and through the power of mindfulness, you can learn to challenge thoughts and beliefs that are not based on reality, that are not based on clarity. And you can change them. You can replace them with thoughts that are based on clarity, that are based on wisdom, that are based on compassion. And so happiness is not just a choice, it is a skill. So if you want to be happy, then you have to cultivate the skill of being happy. So it is a choice and a practice. It's not just something that happens. It's not just something that's given. And that's something that I think we forget a lot today. We tend to take for granted the freedom that we have. And we're too quick to give freedoms up for a lean roll in the hay, the old Pink Floyd song. I think it's Wish You Were Here. And not only for a lean roll in the hay, for a nice, warm, safe cupboard. Too many of us are willing to give up our freedom and for safety. Really? What's safe about life? Good God, you come into it crying and you go out crying usually. What is safe about this life? Really? Look around you. There's nothing safe. That's an illusion. And people will try to sell you safety so they can control you, so they can manipulate you, because they know all too well that there's too many people out there willing to trade their freedom for safety. And likewise, a la the Pink Floyd phrase, there's way too many that'll do it for a lean roll in the cage. Most people don't really want to be free. They don't really want to be happy. Because happiness is a choice and it's a skill. It's something you got to damn well practice every single day. But here's the point. You have the choice. Today there's popular philosophical trends that say, do we really have free will? Are we really just meat puppet zombies going around with the dictates of, the machine? Bull. One of my favorite people who answers this question is Michio Kaku, the great physicist and science educator who tells you that quantum physics shows you that freedom is real. The choice is real. And I'm not saying that if we're living out of conditioning that we're really using our free will, but it's always there. And here's the other thing. Even if we trade our freedom for that lean roll in the cage, even if we trade our freedom for some constructed, manufactured idea of safety that doesn't really exist, even if we allow that to happen, there's still a part of us, way deep down, there's still a part of us that knows that we're lying to ourselves. I have seen it all too well. I have seen people that have lived their life safe. I have seen the regret and the sadness and the heartache and the depression that has followed living a life that's safe. And I have seen firsthand the wreckage that trading your freedom, trading your happiness for security and for a lean roll in the hay, what it wreaks on people's lives. I've seen the havoc that it causes. And I won't kid you. Freedom takes courage. It takes courage to choose to be free. It takes courage to choose to go against the stream. And that is what the Lord Buddha Shakyamuni said. That his path, that the Dharma was going against the stream. It takes courage. It takes courage unless you recognize the trap that you're in. When you realize that you've sold yourself out for material well-being. When you realize you sold yourself out for safety. There's a feeling of being trapped that comes over you eventually, unless you dull it with intoxicants. There's a feeling of trapped. And when you really start to get that feeling of being trapped, man, I don't know if it even really takes much courage. You just want to be free. You want to break out. You want to break the chains. And no one's put those chains on you. You put them on yourself. Remember that the path of mindful living, the way of the Dharma, is a path of personal responsibility. No one else is putting it on you. No one else is keeping you down. The cell is locked from the inside. So, is happiness a choice? Yes. And what is happiness? Happiness is freedom, and the freedom to choose. They feed each other. They bring each other as interconnected as one. And so that's what happiness. Happiness is when you're free. And when you know you're free. And when you know you've chosen your freedom. And it won't always, like I said, be accompanied by pleasant emotion. Lots of times it will be, you know? But sometimes freedom is hard. And it'll be accompanied by a lot of unpleasant emotions. But it's still freedom. It's still happiness. The moment we receive true and trusting, solid and clear like a diamond, infinite light and life embrace and protect us, liberating us completely. Let us say together the 4 immeasurable vows. Sentient beings are numberless, I vow to liberate them. Delusions are endless, I vow to end them. The ways of compassion and wisdom are boundless, I vow to embody them. The way is unattainable, I vow to attain it. Let us take the precepts for the community of the Bodhisattva's vow. I allow my true self to manifest in all aspects of life. I take complete responsibility for my own life and all of my actions. I affirm my personal being and acknowledge it as a path to awakening and freedom. I embrace all aspects of my personal being, including my shadow, so that they may be transformed. I affirm an attitude of openness to my true self, even in the midst of suffering. We will now make our offering. I would encourage all of you to make an offering at your home altars of incense. And we will chant our mantra together. And then after that is over, we will spend some time abiding in oneness together. Tonight's chant will be the Nembutsu, which is the ancient prayer, if you will, or chant of taking refuge in our true selves for our sake and the sake of all beings. Amida representing infinite light and life of our true nature. Now, a lot of people have asked me about chanting, and so let me, as a part of this chant tonight, give you a brief sense of that. And when you chant, you want to chant by focusing on what's called the hara, which is about 2 inches below your navel. And when you breathe in, you want to breathe in and fill up the diaphragm like you're filling up a ballast. And then when you breathe out, you want to push back. So that each chant, as you're chanting out, starts with a big breath in, and then as you go out, it closes. And you will find that chanting this way is very powerful and very cleansing, very healing, mind and body. And at the end, you'll notice that I take 3 deep breaths before we go into abiding. It's a beautiful way to bring yourself together. And I highly recommend it with regard to any state of mind that is discursive or any physical feeling that is besetting. knowing that we never truly practice alone or just for ourselves. Let us offer the merit of our own practice by reciting together the Bodhisattva's Gata. We dedicate this practice to the welfare of all beings throughout space and time. May it always be so. Nam. Om. That concludes tonight's service and ceremony. I hope you found it helpful. If you go to our website at senseitony.com and you're looking for counseling, mindfulness counseling, spiritual guidance, that's one of the main things we do. Just reach out to us, send us an email. We're there to help. If you're interested in becoming a part of the community and having more interaction with myself and with other folks in the Sangha, again, send us an email, go to the website, and we'll hook you up, as they say. And then finally, if you find that there is this calling in your life, a calling to service, to practice your path by serving others as a teacher, as a priest, then I would encourage you to reach out and explore our seminar. Blessings on all of you.